Oh, it's time to relax, and you know what that means. A stack of comics, your favorite easy chair, and of course this compact disc playing on your home stereo. So go on, indulge yourself. That's right, kick your shoes off, lean back, and just enjoy the melodies. After all, music can bring back all that nostalgic memories. Yeah, here we go. Welcome to Captain's Comics and Toys and More. Take your time, have a look around the store. It's free comic book day 2026. You picked us up, good call, it fits. This is where the playlist starts, a little love letter to the things we are. So press play, let it roll tonight. You got something good in your hands, that's right. From old school games to the silver screen, every track hits somewhere in between. First song here just sets the tone. You're not listening to this alone. This awesome mix was made for you, side by side with Volume 2. You'll hear a fight, you'll hear a flight. Mortal Kombat kicks it off just right. Then Superman up in the sky and Spaceballs makes it all go by. Pac-Man fever lights the maze. Geeks take over in their own way. OCD with that coffee spin. Yeah, this is where the fun begins. Rapping Duke with a throwback sound. Diggy diggy hole goes underground. The Witcher theme calls you near. Serenity brings that quiet cheer. Let it play, don't skip a track. There's a story in this stack. So press play, let it roll tonight. You got something good in your hands, that's right. From old school games to the silver screen, every track hits somewhere in between. First song here just sets the tone. You're not listening to this alone. This awesome mix was made for you, side by side with Volume 2. Mr. T brings the energy. Barry runs through history. Spider-Man swings back again. Hobby talk with all your friends. And time keeps moving on. Then the ultimate showdown song. And if you're someone who plays to win, there's a hidden track tucked in. Yeah, you might want to stick around. So press play, let it roll tonight. Thanks for stopping in, it feels just right. From every shelf to every sound, there's a little magic going round. Track one fades, but don't you go. There's a lot more left below. This awesome mix was made for you. Every song to carry it through. Thanks for stopping by today. Enjoy the show and press play.
Are you interested in amateur radio? Ham radio is an exciting hobby that opens the door to digital communications, international connections, electronics, STEM learning, public service, and community involvement. The Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula is a non-profit 501c3 organization dedicated to helping people discover one of the most rewarding hobbies around. We offer free amateur radio licensing classes, mentoring, technical support, and opportunities to get involved in all aspects of radio communications. Whether you're interested in emergency communications, technology, public service, or just meeting great people with shared interests, there's a place for you in amateur radio. Learn more and become a member today at kc80h.org.
In a small town where imagination faded, one place refused to let it die. A beacon in the dark where new comics sat idle waiting for an opportunity. Captain's Comics, Toys, and your next adventure starts here. The store's not yet been rated.
Rykus leans in, his eyes like fire. Nemo's got the mic dressed in satire. Andrew in the booth, spinning the wheel. Cameras rolling, it's all surreal. Who's the guest today? Who's the guest today? Record spinning, always winning. Rykus, Nemo, questions pinning. Andrew calls the shot, don't miss the frame. Hobby Hooligan, what's your name?
Welcome to another episode of Ashtabula
Hobby Talk. I'm your host, Rykus, owner of Captain's Comics in North Kingsville, Ohio. And I'm here today with...
Here we are. Close enough. Not Nemo. I got his hat on, but you know who I am. I hope. I'm Andrew, secretary of Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula, and yeah, I'm here too. And we got a special guest tonight, don't we?
Well, we have Nemo in the studio too.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sorry.
And we have Nemo back behind the computers as he's the
He's getting it. Oh, one more.
There we go.
There you go.
There
All
we
right,
go.
and we got our guest there too. Make sure he's unmuted there, Nemo.
All right. So today's guest is my friend Eric. I've known him since elementary school. We've been and he's gonna come here and talk about some bees. First off. So what's up, Eric?
Not much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. Kind of last minute. Sorry to rush you into the show like this.
It's all
I
good.
kind of wanted to do like a away mission with you so we can absorb your bees firsthand, but I don't think I want to get stung.
Yeah. It's all
I think
good.
it's better in the studio, safe
Yeah.
away from the bees.
Oh man, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? You haven't lived until you've been surrounded by a swarm of angry bees, man.
I
Yeah.
don't think I want to live then.
No, it's fine.
So
I'll drag you out sometime.
so you've been beekeeping for a few years now. How'd you get into that?
Yeah. 9 years and stuff now. I actually got into it because of my wife, Jeff, she got her mom into it and stuff, and I was talking about all my stories about bees like when I was a kid, I lived lived on East 16th Street in Ashtabula, and there was always bees like right at this church and stuff that would come out, and I would just stand next to the swarms that'd be on the grass and just like look at them, totally mesmerized and stuff. So she got me and my buddy to do bees together and stuff, and we've been doing it for a while together. I think this is our first year where we've kind of split off just because it just made more sense with how big the apiary was growing.
Nice. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. I think Andrew has a lot of questions about bees, and so I'm gonna let him ask some questions. And
All right, well, we'll get this dynamic figured out here because like you're better at being on camera, but I know more about beekeeping. I'm a beekeeper myself, so well shoot, now that I'm sitting here, I don't really know what to ask. Not necessarily questions, but I guess I'll just ask how's your season been so far?
So far it's been good and stuff. I mean, lo- opening up a beehive, you never really know what you're going to get and stuff every time you try to go and inspect them and stuff.
Absolutely.
And we did an inspection yesterday. I had like 4 new packages at one of my
Oh, man.
apiaries, and I went there, and they probably only were there for maybe maybe like 4 days, 4 or 5 days,
Mhm.
and I needed to put some frames, and in there and stuff because I didn't have enough frames at the time, so I had to go back and get some more
Right.
frames and stuff. And I went to go put it in, and there was just like all kinds of comb like everywhere that they had built, and I'm like,
Oh,
how,
you.
how can you guys build like that fast? Like
Oh,
because
dude,
I've never seen
I know, right?
bees build that fast.
Yeah.
Well, here's a thing. When I went to go look at um check the two other colonies, they're gone and
Oh
stuff.
no,
And
they absconded.
they
Oh,
what happened is that they all went into the one colony.
whoa.
And so and I noticed this because like I had a new packages to my house, and ours was like the second largest package of
Hmm.
bees. And this colony had like, gosh, like at least 3 times the amount of bees that my colony has and stuff here.
Yeah.
And the bees kept coming in because it was like later at night, and the whole like thing was like just completely full of bees. And you know, if you know about
Wow.
bees, it takes 21 days for a worker cell to hatch and stuff. And if it's only 5 days, they're not going to reproduce that fast and stuff. So
Yeah, that's
it was kind of
that's crazy.
fun dealing with that. Yes, sir.
So, so what happened to the queens from those two other packages then? Were they just still sitting there hanging out in their cages, or had they been released?
No,
So they released the queens, but then they decided, hey, you know what? Let's move into this other hive, and there wasn't like a whole bunch of a pile of dead bees. They were pretty peaceful about it.
because when you get a package, um, the the bees aren't the worker bees and the drones, because there are drones in the package. Um, they're not they don't always come from the same hive as the queen.
Yeah.
So the queen's like a complete stranger to them and stuff. So they don't have that pheromone and stuff, the queen's pheromone and stuff yet. And so if they're able to not have that pheromone and go to combine another hive, the other hive isn't going to be able to tell
Reject
the
them.
difference because they
Yeah.
haven't settled in yet. And this is
Huh.
actually the second time this has happened to me and stuff.
Wow.
Actually, the very first time I did bees, I had 2 packages that would start off with, and I dumped one package out, and it was fine. And then I dumped another package, and the bees like it was like a cartoon. It just like went like they went in the hive, and then they just went out the hive, and they went to and they went up to the other hive.
Oh
And I'm
man.
looking, I'm like, okay, now what do we do? I
Oh
have no
wow.
idea.
That's
Yeah, it was funny, but it has to do with where is the strongest queen, and whoever has
yeah.
the queen who's the strongest pheromones, that's who they're going to and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's funny.
That's man. That's a stark difference from how my start of the season went. So I last year first of all, I'll ask you this: how long have you been beekeeping?
About 9 years.
Okay, so you got a couple of years on me. This is my second year, and my first year it
Yeah.
actually went really well. To be honest, I got a package from I got my first package from a company Mountain Sweet Honey. I think they're based in Georgia. Yeah, so they arrived within like 3 days. Like it was great. There was probably only like a dozen or so dead workers on the bottom, so real good strong package. Yeah. Um and we set them up in, brand new equipment and everything. And it worked out really well. The queen was really strong after I had some pictures of her from last year, of course, cuz unfortunately she didn't survive. Her both colonies didn't survive that I had last year. They didn't survive the winter. Um and
Yeah.
I was comparing some pictures of them to my colony this year, and it's crazy, man. That was a strong queen. I really wish I could have kept her because 2 days ago would have been the same time frame of when I installed them this year from when I installed my package this year. They had like 2 or 3 completely drawn frames full of capped brood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this year, now I will say, this year my package started out, they were not in good shape. They were lost in the mail. Nobody could tell me where they were. They were in transit for 7 days.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when we're talking about a bee package, it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a little crate, basically about the size of, oh, I don't know, about the size of a bread box, a little bigger, full of bees, about 3 pounds of bees, and that's what, 10,000 bees? They say about 3 pounds, about 10,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that plus a queen that is not their queen, they don't know that queen. Um, and like Eric said, those workers aren't even all from the same hive, right? Because how they make a package is they literally they shake a bunch of bees into a box and they put them on a scale and they weigh it, and it's very chaotic. It's a little funny, maybe a little sad, maybe, because it's literally like they're getting taken from their homes and just thrown into a box, right? But with the chaos, kind of adds like a level of, there's not really a whole lot of fighting, right? Like there is some, but the bees kind of all figured out like, hey, we're kind of stuck in this together, so they don't really do that. But they're put into a pot, into a box, a little mesh crate. Mine was actually plastic this year. I did not like that. That was another thing. I couldn't figure out how to get the rest of the bees out of it because it wasn't a mesh like wooden crate. I could just cut the mesh. It was plastic. That was
Oh,
fun.
wow.
Yeah, but
I don't think
long
I've
story
messed with
short,
before.
my bee package was lost in the mail and they were in transit for 7 days. They were in there for so long that they actually started to draw like serious comb on the queen cage. It was, dude, it was so sad. My whole family, they really liked this beekeeping endeavor. Everyone was so mad because we thought all these bees were going to be dead, right? And a good amount of them were. About half that package was dead. So I actually
Yeah,
ended up getting a refund from that package, but thankfully, one saving grace of last year, my bees didn't make it through the winter, but all their resources and all their drawn comb has. So I put them all
mm,
onto that, what was left of that package, and they kicked it back up, and after they kind of got their feet back underneath them, they're doing okay now. And I actually decided to immediately release that queen as well because they'd been in there for 7 days. They had gotten well, adjusted to her, and everything kind of worked out. But yeah, so that was my bee
yeah.
package. And then as I was telling you earlier, before we started here, I got given some bees. This gentleman in our
Right.
4-H group, um, he didn't want them anymore. He was like, hey, I'm getting out of beekeeping, and apparently these bees had, like, it was a swarm that had moved into one of his empty hives last year, so they overwintered without any
Okay.
intervention from him, right? And this was a big hive. This was 2 deeps and a super full of bees, right?
Well,
So I was given those bees. He stuck a feed bag in their like entrance to keep them all in, and it was a really cold day, so we brought them home in the back of the truck. That was fun, driving down the road with a box of bees and behind you, right?
I think I've seen a movie with that.
um, so we brought them home and got them all set up where we wanted them, and we ended up moving them. But come to find out, they didn't have a queen because we opened them up a couple of days later when it had gotten warm enough to open them up and check them. No queen, and they had queen cells, so they were trying to replace their queen. So we treated him for mites because he had done nothing with them, right? Like he was like transparent about it. I didn't want these bees, and they're still alive, like they're doing, whatever. But and that's something I'm sure we'll talk about is mites. I saw you sent some pictures there of some lovely Varroa mites, but they have been a very we'll say pain in my rear. Thankfully, not literally. I haven't gotten stung by them, but they've tried. um, they've their queen cells didn't hatch, or I think one of them actually did, but we had a real stretch of bad weather, and that virgin queen, I never even saw her. So I think she either was not fully developed and they hatched the cell and realized, hey, this queen isn't alive, or she went out to try to mate and she got lost or died in the bad weather. Because I haven't seen any new larvae or drones or anything, so there's not even a virgin queen running around in there.
mhm.
So I tried to give them 2 queens, right? Because they were so big, I split them, and they both had 2 queen cells. Those queen cells didn't work out, and I tried to split them, and I gave them both queens, and you can believe it, that's some money invested in there. That's each one of those queens was $40, right? And that was also a 2-hour drive to go get them.
Wow.
They did not accept the queens. They looked like they were going to, and they were actually in the process of releasing them from their cages. And how that works is there's like a cage that she's in with some workers and a little candy, like a hard candy plug, and they eat that candy and then they eventually release her. Well, they were working on it, and I was like, okay, cool. They've been queenless for weeks, maybe more. They know that they have a queen in there. They're going to get her out, and everything's going to be cool. And I'm going to have 3 colonies going into the season. So we released them manually. We cut the mesh on their cages, which is something we had to do the prior year. We had a really small swarm that wasn't able to release their queen, and we released her, and they accepted her, and everything worked out. Not with these bees. We went back in a week later, and there was no eggs and no queens.
Oh man.
Yeah. So they did not accept those queens apparently, even though it seemed like they were going to. So we were like pretty frustrated. Okay, last ditch effort. This package that we got had bounced back pretty nicely, and we thought, hey, they can donate some resources to the cause. So we recombined these colonies, these 2 that we split that were originally 1, and we gave them a frame of young eggs and young larvae from our package hive that was trying to get their feet back under them, for them to make some queens out of, because they had been trying to make queen cells. There were queen cells everywhere, but they didn't have any larvae to put in them, right? No, they decided they weren't going to do that. Then they were just going to cap them over and raise normal bees out of them. So
Well, I know you started your bee through like a beginner's kit, right?
it was a local gentleman I bought all the gear from, and then I bought the bees themselves online.
How did you start your kit, Eric?
We had a guy that the supplier that we met was from the Ashtabula County Beekeepers Association. We met a guy through there and got a couple packages off of him and stuff. So
We talked to the Ashtabula Beekeepers in one of our previous videos with the Ashtabula County Fair.
nice.
Oh yeah, last year, yeah.
I think I saw that one actually. So
Yeah.
That was fun.
they're pretty nice people and stuff. A lot of information, good information and stuff. So like good
I still need to
resources.
get with them actually. I haven't reached out to them yet. That's something I got to do this year. I want to become part of the club there, but I haven't had the time.
So they helped you out?
Yeah, I've called them before about the situation that a couple situations that we had with queens and stuff, and they gave some good advice and stuff like that and stuff. So give us some good resources and everything.
It's a nice network to have.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, because a lot of people don't realize there's a lot that goes into beekeeping. Like they're very complex animals, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
more so, I would say there's a lot more that goes into it than like raising livestock, like chickens or stuff, because it's kind of obvious. You buy your chicks from whatever store, and you raise them up, you feed them until they're big enough, and then if they're meat chickens, you know what happens to meat chickens, or if they're raising them for eggs or pest control, you let them live out their life and they lay eggs and you pick up the eggs or they eat the bugs.
Right.
That's kind of it, right? But with bees, it's a little more complicated. I feel there's a lot of work involved in keeping up on them, because if they outgrow their home, they're not trapped in there. It's not like they can't just leave whenever they want to. That's what a lot of people don't understand about beekeeping. Oh, you're taking the honey from the bees, or oh, the bees don't want to stay in these hives. They want to be in the wild. No. If the bees don't like how their situation is going, they will leave, and you will have an empty beehive, or you will have a beehive with half the bees that you had or less. So
Wow.
yeah, it's they're not forced to be there.
Nope. What happened? We lost audio?
Lost your audio on you there, Eric.
Can you hear me now?
There
Yep,
we go.
there we go.
We're good.
I probably should take my thumb off my microphone.
What were you saying?
What I was saying is that being a beekeeper is kind of like being a hotel manager.
Yes,
really.
absolutely.
You got to make sure like that all your customers and patrons, like that they're taken care of and stuff, and given what they need, and and then come July, it's time to pay rent, man. So that's why you take out that honey. So
For sure. Absolutely, yeah.
because if you keep the honey for yourself, stuff as a hobbyist, that's great and stuff. But to sell the honey, it kind of helps with the offsetting the costs and stuff of beekeeping and stuff, which is a
Yeah.
lot. So
Oh yeah.
I thought
That's
it was a lot when
for
I
sure.
started, but now it's like it's insane.
Yeah, it's you really don't think about it at first because it's like, oh, there's a bee suit, there's gloves, there's a little metal pry bar called a hive tool, and then the smoker, and then a box, right? And then your bees. So if you buy all this equipment, like you buy the suit, the smoker, the hive tool, the gloves, that's just it, right? You have it now. Then you can either choose to buy the boxes pre-made, like it's assembled, painted, and everything, which is what I did. Or you could buy them unassembled and assemble them yourself, and then you're paying with your time. But there is a lot more than just the basic equipment and a hive that you have to buy, especially now with how prevalent pests are. If you can believe it, you don't just put bees in a box and they make you honey if you have flowers around. No, you have to keep them healthy. You have to keep up on their space to make sure they have enough space. And you have to feed them as well, because a lot of the times people get bees in the early spring when there's no flowers, and they can't make a hive. They can't build out all these frames of wax from nothing. So most people would feed them like sugar water or sugar syrup. It's 1-to-1 sugar water, or water and sugar, right? And then there's additives you can put in it, and it's a lot.
I'm sure after 9 years of beekeeping, you probably got some experience and some regrets. Do you have anything that you would kind of want to reflect off to younger you?
Yeah, what's some stuff that's happened that's notable you want to talk about?
Um,
Maybe some
well, the
advice
one
you want to give to your younger self?
just about bees.
Yeah, let's just stick to the bees. Not the birds and the bees, just the bees.
I think just being patient with things, and also making the hard decisions, like earlier, and then later. I think that's the biggest thing. One of the
Mm,
things about beekeeping is that you got to think like a swarm, like a bee swarm and stuff, or a beehive. And with a beehive, it's not about the individual bee; it's about the whole colony. So, what are you going to do? What's best for the colony? What's best for keeping that colony alive? And sometimes, keeping that colony alive means taking a queen out of the hive early and stuff. If they're aggressive or if they're an older queen and stuff. Because if your queen dies during the winter, you lose a whole colony. And so it's better to queen early than it is to wait. Because you've got emotions or feelings involved in that queen and stuff, and it's hard, because it goes against like how you think of like being a human, or how you interact with like other people and stuff like that. If you're dealing with bees and stuff, you're not thinking about the individual and stuff. You're
yeah,
thinking about what's best for that 80,000 bee colony and stuff. Or your entire apiary. If you've got like I've had the most I've had was like 38 hives.
oh wow.
And so you got to do and sometimes we've had resource issues, and we've had to take weak hives and either combine them together and stuff, which means that you have to take out one of the queens and stuff when you're combining them like that and stuff. Or sometimes we've had like such weak hives, that they're not going to make it, but you've got this other hive that needs like the resources or the comb and stuff like that. And I've had to kick out bees and stuff out of hives and stuff. And it sounds cruel, and stuff, but those are hard decisions that you got to make and stuff, because you know dealing with that one hive and taking the resources from them is going to help another hive stay alive and stuff, and or and if you don't do that, you lose 2 hives instead of just the 1 and stuff, you know. So it's hard. It's hard to make those kind of decisions and stuff, but they're
Yeah.
kind of decisions that you have to make.
For sure, and the aspect of like humanizing your bee colony right now, there's a certain amount of that which I feel like is they're considered livestock, right? They're like when you see a wild bee colony, they're not invasive, they're not like they're native. No, they're considered livestock, right? So with that mentality comes, I name my queens, right? I've named every single one of my queens. I named those 2 queens that got killed in a week, right? And that sucked. Right? My girlfriend named one of those queens. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so sad," right? And I'm like, "I'm sorry. The bees did what they did," right? And like this past season when I lost both of my bee colonies over the winter, that was honestly it was heartbreaking. Like I went as far as I've never told anybody this, right? I had nightmares about losing my bee colony for like the weirdest ways, like that I walked outside and the hive was just gone and there was a pile of frozen bees on the ground, right? That was weird. That was really weird. But the reality of it is things happen like that, and you have to like Eric said, you have to make the hard decisions like, hey, this bee colony I have, like let's say you have a perfectly happy, healthy bee colony, or you have a whole apiary, like 3 or 5 hives, right? They're perfectly healthy, everything's going right. You see a swarm of bees and you're like, "Ooh, I don't really need more bees, but I can help these bees, I can save them, I can make sure they're healthy and all that." But little do you know, the hive they just came from is sick. You take these bees and you put them into your bee yard, and sure, maybe you put them off to the side, or maybe you put them behind your house or whatever. But these bees are carrying something, and you're gonna shudder when you hear this because I'm sure you know what I'm gonna say. American foul brood. 3 words you never want to hear in relation to your bee colonies. American foul brood. Now there's European foul brood, which is not nearly as bad. It's fungal, right? European foul brood is fungal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's a fungus infection of your bees, and that's still not great, and it can still be detrimental to your colonies. But you can treat that. You can help that. American foul brood is, what is that? That's also fungal, but it's different, right? I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's more deadly. It basically eats your colony and
Yeah.
stuff, and
So
you gotta take care. You gotta take the colony out and stuff,
yeah,
to be
like
able to.
this.
Um,
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
oh, that's okay, man, and stuff. I was just saying that so it doesn't spread to your other colonies and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta deal with that one.
In this hypothetical situation, you've taken these bees into your. Oh, someone's getting a phone call. You've taken these bees into your apiary, and you want to give them a better life and all that, and all of a sudden, oh my God, every single one of my bee colonies, or let's just say one of my bee colonies, gets this disease, right? And that's very deadly to all of your bees in your colony. The official FDA and like Department of Agriculture, I think it's just Department of Agriculture. I don't know why I said FDA. But they've official process for dealing with that is burning your beehive.
Oh wow.
You do not fix American foul brood. You don't even keep the equipment. Like if you've had a bee suit that's gotten like wax on it or anything, the safest possible thing you can do is burn all of your equipment and bleach your bee suit. And if any hives have come into contact with that, isn't it like a mandatory thing? Do you have to destroy your whole apiary, or is it just any hives that present with American foul brood?
No, I believe it's just the hives that have the American foul
Okay.
brood
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
it's no joke. So
Yeah,
there's a
but
lot that goes into it.
Luckily, it's not very common.
No, I don't know how I found it, and I have to try to find it again. But there was actually like an Ohio Department of Agriculture map for the bee inspector, because there's like there's a bee inspector for every county, right? And I've met mine. His name's Ed. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I love
People
Ed.
like that. They go around and they go around and
Ed must be very well known in the bee community.
I mean, when I saw him, it was
Dude, he's done
Oh, no.
beekeeping longer than I've been alive. And
Yeah,
stuff.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he's
Wow.
He's even my friend's 3 years older than me. You know, he's 50 years old, and this guy Ed's still been doing beekeeping longer than he's been
Yeah,
alive too. I mean, he's
for sure.
awesome, absolutely awesome. I mean, I have a hive that I had a hive that I had issues with. Every time you open it, it gets aggressive. Ed goes in there, and they're all like calm and everything, and
The bee
I'm like,
whisperer.
thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for making me feel dumb now.
um,
But
But
like, so Ashtabula is definitely blessed with a good bee inspector because
yeah,
I've
for sure.
I've dealt with Peach and Stark County stuff, and it's the best. That's all I'm
Um,
saying. And
shoot, what was I? Oh, right. I was just gonna say they have a map of all these different bee ailments that you can see, and like American foul brood, I was so happy to see this. There was like 3 cases in the entire county, and they were all very spread out, right? But that's the thing
yeah,
is like the spores can live basically for like decades, even longer than that. So that's why you have to burn the hives.
well, you mentioned that
Anyway.
you named your queens. I have to ask though, Eric, did you ever name one of your bees half a bee? Eric the half a bee?
have a bee. No, not have a bee. I have named one of my queens. I'm not going to say the name because you're live. But it was not a very nice queen.
Maybe a
So,
little some aggressive genetics there. Yeah, that's
I don't know if
yeah,
anybody's gonna get the
yeah.
reference of Eric the half a
It
bee.
was. And unfortunately, the more aggressive they are, the better the honey is.
yep. That's the reality of it is like out west with all the Africanized bees, they're real productive. They're great at making honey. They make pounds and pounds of honey, much more than a gentle colony. But well, we both know everybody knows what Africanized honeybees are. Basically, that's why a lot of people are scared of bees in general. Killer bees. Yeah, not not great to come into contact with that. The mentality of a beekeeper out here when they see a swarm versus the mentality of a beekeeper out west is very different. So I haven't ever been out west, but I've seen videos of western beekeepers, and they're just like, yeah, so here's my hive that I've got. Here's my whole apiary, and they walk into their video. They're already wearing their bee suit, and they walk down the aisle of the bees, and you just see a cloud of bees following them because it's what happens, right? Yeah,
Do you have any like horror stories with your bees?
yeah.
They get aggressive towards you.
Like what kind of horror stories?
They come after you. They try to attack you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't had any like I honestly haven't been stung in like 3 years and stuff.
Really?
I don't know. I've just been like a lot calmer and stuff for some bees and stuff. I haven't had any issues and stuff. But before when we were out, we had apiaries out of my grandfather's out in Walter, Maine, and in Geneva, and they were pretty aggressive and stuff. And the honeys were good, but we actually had a marker where like if you go past this marker, there's going to be a bee coming after you and stuff. And it was pretty much like 50 feet away from the hives, and they would come
Oh
after
man.
you and stuff. And so it was like constant, like you'd be in one hive and you'd be getting attacked by like 2 other hives, the 2 adjacent hives and
Oh
stuff,
my
And
gosh.
so it was pretty crazy. And they were all, and there is a difference between species too. These were all Italians and stuff.
Hmm.
I think we had one Caucasian hive there, but most of them were Italians,
Interesting.
and they were pretty mean, but they they fended off a couple attacks. I mean, we've had like where a claw. I don't know if it's a bear, but I know a raccoon can't tear a wood hive apart and stuff, But
Oh
we had
wow.
like a claw mark where it actually tore a chunk of hive out and stuff. But that's all it did and stuff, And bears can be
No kidding.
pretty destructive. But the thing is like I said, when you go in that apiary, there's like 3 or 4 hives coming after you and stuff. So there's that, but we kind of got used to it. It kind of became humorous after a while. I've jumped in mud puddles before Jeff, my buddy, he had a bee in his. He was like in the apiary, and he
Oh no.
just instinctively he had a bee in his suit, and he just took his jacket off. Stuff, you know.
Oh no.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, like I said, I've jumped in mud puddles before. I've had like bees go in my suit and dropped a deep box and stuff, you know, before
Oh
like full of
no.
bee stuff.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's a
That's oh.
living, you know, stuff. So it's you know, so it's been, you know, it's been fun, I guess,
In
at times. And we've also had a couple um pit bulls that were like roaming around the apiary.
oh no, I know how this goes.
And they were growling at us, and I'm like, I looked at my friend, I'm like, if these dogs come closer, I'm kicking over this hive.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Oh, they weren't your dogs. Oh no. Oh man.
luckily they didn't. They didn't come after us. That, you know, thankfully for them and for the beehive stuff, you know,
Wow.
because, you know, obviously you know, being in a bee suit, I couldn't take two dogs on. It's hard to take two pit bulls on, anyways, and stuff. But I know the bees could.
Oh man, that's some pretty unconventional you know, dog deterrent there, but I think I like that honestly because
That's
if they
Jason Statham level of
Yeah.
beekeeping there.
if they run away, you know, they're not gonna get real too badly hurt, but if they don't run away, well, bees. So
They're gonna run away. They'd run
oh
away.
yeah, for sure. My dog certainly ran away when he walked in front of our beehive. No aggression or anything. He was just like walking in front of the beehive,
Yeah.
and I look at him and I'm like, "You idiot! I was telling you to move away." And before I could yell at him to move away, I heard a yip, and I'm like, "Yep, all right,
Yep.
he won't stand there anymore."
And
Yeah.
and it all depends on how you act too, you know, and stuff. I mean, like I've been able to calm down with bees and stuff, you know. But my kids, they've they've grown up around bees and stuff, so they're very calm. Like they walk in front of the hive. I mean, my one son, he like went up to the hive and started looking in there and stuff, you know,
Oh
because he
man.
didn't know what it was. And the bees just like flew around them. They didn't even like bother him
Oh, okay,
and
that's
stuff, you
cool.
know. So you get hives like that too. And it also, like I said, you know, with them, it's a matter of like the bees aren't seeing them as threatening because they're not putting any like negative vibes off either and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
they're just walking around. They're just, you know, just being patient and stuff, like, or, you know, just playing or whatever. And the bees sense that you're not like a threat, and they'll just take care of you. Stuff. And
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can actually like, you know, you hear people say that and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, sure." But no, it's a real thing. Like my the bee package I got, I don't think I mentioned it. They're Buckfast bees. And then
okay,
those wild swarm in the other hive that's, you know, whatever they are not particularly well mannered, and part of it is because they don't have a queen, but I don't really want to stand in front of them, and I'll get bees coming past me and they sound angry, like they're real high pitched and stuff. Meanwhile, I can stand in front of my Buckfast hive with no suit on, just like a foot away from them, or just, you know, behind the fence or whatever, and they don't bother me at all. And I'll open the top of the hive up, and not a single bee will fly up at me, you know. And it really matters you have to put, how do I describe this? You have to move with purpose in a beehive, and if you're very slow and you don't, you know, crush any bees or you don't shake the bees, a lot of people don't even wear bee suits. They just wear thin gloves and a veil because I'm sorry, this might be a little, actually I don't think this is even really controversial. If you want to be a beekeeper and you don't wear a veil, you are accepting the risk of one single bee just happening to fly up in your face and sting you in the eye. And well, I think everybody can understand what happens if you get stung in the eye, right?
I think something bad happens, right?
Yeah, you don't want to get stung in the eye. So, but you know, it's a choice, right? Everyone's got their own way of doing it. So,
My dog likes to attack bees that come in the house.
oh, does it chase him and try to eat him?
I think she ate him once, but
Oh no.
I think that was only once.
Yeah,
I don't think she's gonna attack
that's
him
one of
again.
those things you do once and you learn not to. Oh man.
I've seen her trying to attack, and I was like, no, don't do it. But she was determined. And
Yep, and you're just like, oh, okay, you know, it's one bee. It's not gonna be too bad.
it's
But
good to learn things. Dogs need to learn things too.
don't touch the hot stove. Why not? Well, find out. Anyway. Oh.
So you used to get enough honey that you were actually bottling them and selling it. You plan on doing that again, or is this just now that you've
Yeah, I plan
done
on doing
this?
it again. We've had a couple of slow years, and that is mainly due to the type of bee that we had and stuff. We had like Saskatraz bees, and they just were not producing very much honey. So
Oh wow.
they did really good for mite control and stuff. They're excellent with mite control, but they just weren't producing any honey. So I've got I went back to Italians because Italians seem to be like what we've been getting like the most honey from. So hopefully this year we'll have something. So
Cool. But you also doing other things now that you have other hobbies. You started getting into 3D printing,
yeah, actually I did.
and
So,
you're on your third printer right now, I think, right?
well,
Did you
no,
buy it yet?
not yet. So if I'm on I have 2 printers and stuff right now. I'm pushing for a third. I just gotta have a reason why I get one. But
I'm really glad you brought that up because I forgot that this was supposed to be 3D printing and beekeeping. This is
3D
what happens when you put me in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Anyway.
hey, beekeeping is like a 2-hour episode.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's kind of like a
Like,
ham radio. There's a lot to it. On the surface, it doesn't seem like it, but there's a lot to it.
Well, we can probably do another part and maybe be in the field of one of his bees.
Hey, that would be a good idea. Maybe we could do that.
I think that'd be cool.
I'd love to go to another apiary and see how other people handle their bees. Because like I'm kind of just off by myself. I've never really been to another apiary or talked to many other beekeepers. I just watch a lot of videos on the internet.
yeah, well, to get together, I don't mind coming out there to your place and just shoot some ideas or whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe we could do an episode around honey harvest season. That could be fun.
That would be fun.
When's that?
I mean, there's kind of 2 harvests, but most people only do it
July.
once. Depends. Yeah, you said July. Yeah.
We do ours like July, end of June, beginning of July.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, we only do one harvest. Well, actually, we do 2 harvests, but we do one harvest in the middle of summer, and then we do one harvest at the beginning of spring and stuff. We don't do a fall harvest. We let the
Okay.
bees have it and stuff to make sure that they're taken care of, because like it's actually, you get a lot of talk about like mites and all kinds of other stuff. Here, this is what happens when we get 2 beekeepers together. We like went
Oh
off
yeah.
the topic of printing. This is short, sorry. And so, it's actually the number one killer of hives is starvation. So because people, they unknowingly, over harvest and stuff in the fall and stuff, and the
Yeah.
bees end up starving.
I believe
You
that.
got to make sure they have enough honey. So we've just kind of developed it into our methodologies of just, we'll take whatever's in the spring. If there's extra in spring.
I like that. I really like that methodology, and actually, it's kind of interesting. You say starvation it is what takes out bee colonies. So I don't have a counterpoint, but I have an interesting like a thing. What happened with my bee colony? So I know what happened to my bee colony. Both of them actually. So I had that package last year, and I had a swarm as well that I put a queen in. I think the swarm was more just because they weren't big enough, but you know what I'm gonna say. It was mites. My big Italian bee colony. I didn't do enough management of my mites because it was what 70s that Varroa started showing up in the U.S. Was it 70s or 80s? I can't remember.
I want to say 80s.
Okay,
But
so
I don't know exactly.
yeah, so 70s, 80s. We had this lovely little pest show up. Was it Southern America they came from? I think it was Southern America.
I don't remember.
Okay, so we'll just say this lovely little pest showed up from somewhere in the world where our bees have never had to deal with it. So there's like 2 main species of honeybees. There's European honeybees, and when we say Italian, buckfast, saskatraz. That's different strains of honeybee species, but they're the same like general species. There's what Asian honeybees and European honeybees, right? Is that right?
Yeah, there's African also.
Oh yeah, and then there's African honeybees. So European honeybees are what most of the world uses, like in Europe and Northern America. They never had to evolve coinciding with these things called varroa mites, and their scientific name is Varroa destructor. If that tells you anything about how seriously devastating they are to the bee colonies, and what they do is they go inside the cells of developing bees and they parasitize them, and then the adults, once they emerge from that, because that's where the babies are laid, the eggs are laid, and they hatch inside the developing bee cells. They parasitize the adult bees as well, and they make them real sick and vulnerable to viruses and the cold as well. And what happened to my bees is they with the really up and down weather we had this past winter, where it was really cold and then it went up a little bit and then it went back down and plummeted. That combined with the fact that they were weak from, I think the technical term is what, virosis, when they're sick from mites, I believe.
What is that again? I'm sorry.
Well, when they're
No.
sick from mites, like the general, like when they're sick is called virosis from varroa mites. I don't know if
Yeah, I
I'm,
don't know. I've never
Okay.
heard of that before.
I might be misremembering that.
Doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. But basically, because they were sick, the cold got them. And so many of them in the hive actually died that the ones that were still alive and could have potentially lived through the winter died of starvation, because so many died inside the hive that they couldn't get to the rest of the honey. Because my top super was empty, right? It was basically completely empty. But my bottom super, full of dead bees, was almost completely full.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to go through that in the spring, honestly. So that's what happened to me, and that's why keeping up on how much food they have and how healthy they are is so important. So
Well, Eric provided us with a couple pictures of some mites. Did you have some story with that too?
Yeah, my wife and I, we both have public health backgrounds and biology backgrounds and stuff. Well, not me. She's the biologist. um, and so we kind of like look at things under the microscope and everything and stuff. And so that one varroa mite came to.
Make
There's
that
a lot more
bigger,
pictures, but that one kind of
go to
perked our interest because they the legs literally got bit off by the bees
Oh,
and stuff. And I've always heard that Saskatraz bees are kind of like nicknamed ankle biters and stuff, because they'll bite like the legs off of varroa
yeah,
mites, and that
yeah.
was the first time I ever saw like a bite actually with that. So
That's awesome. I love that. We love to see the bees. They're actually like evolving and learning this in real time in these last couple, like 20, 30 years. It's really cool.
yeah,
For sure.
but
Yeah. Of course, it's not always like as simple as, hey, the bees are gonna figure it out, right? There's lots of products you can buy, some of them like synthetic pesticides, some of them are like essential oils, or what's a lot of people use around here, oxalic acid, which is like the same stuff that's in coffee and tea, right? Just very high concentrations of it. Not like you're gonna pour a cup of coffee in your beehive and they're gonna be free of mites. No, that wouldn't be good. Don't pour coffee into your beehives, folks.
Well, speaking of what bees are good for, honey is used for a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What are the products that
Right.
you made?
with honey,
Yes, or
I've
bee
made
stuff,
what's that?
or bee product stuff.
What can you get out of a beehive? Is that
Um,
what you're kind of asking?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've made honey fermented garlic and honey
Oh,
fermented peaches and stuff from our bees, and that's the honey fermented garlic has all kinds of like health benefits and stuff, especially for men, and as far as like lowering your cholesterol and helping regulate like metabolism and stuff, and it it tastes exactly like it sounds. I mean, it's honey from garlic.
That's
Honey
cool.
from the peaches. I don't know if there's any benefits to it, but it tastes really good stuff. And so we've made that. We've made candles, different things with propolis. We've got some propolis traps to kind of
Oh, okay.
collect propolis because there's a lot of like health benefits to that stuff, and you can also make like different cosmetics and everything. They actually have a toothpaste that's made out of propolis too.
Oh,
And
now
so,
that's something I've never heard of.
yeah, if you go on Amazon and type in their propolis toothpaste stuff, they have it stuff, and you can get it, and it's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good for you too stuff.
That's
So
that's really cool. I've never heard of that. And could you explain what propolis is for those who don't know? I want to let you talk a little bit.
uh, propolis is like from what I know and what I've read, it's the honeybees get like the different sap from pine trees and stuff, and they take it and kind of make like a extremely hard liquid. It's kind of like if you ever had like taffy and then you put it in the freezer and it gets like really super hard. That's pretty much the consistency of how like propolis is, and they use it for sealing um any holes and stuff that they have like in the hive, and they'll seal holes. They'll also use it for if they've got like any type of other pests. If they've got hive beetles, they'll propolis hive beetles inside, there to
Yeah.
kind of make them stick to the walls and stuff, to take care of 'em. And yeah, so they use it for a lot of things and stuff, and it's got some health benefits too.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. As far as I understand, it's like antimicrobial, and like you said, they make little jails for the hive beetles. Like they'll herd them all into a corner and they'll stick them with propolis because hive beetles, their larvae, they they eat the wax and they destroy hives. Like I've had a serious infestation of them before, and it's not pretty, and it smells really bad too. Yeah.
One more thing I want to ask is about the bees. Is I was talking to one of my coworkers at my job, and we were talking about how local honey is more good for you than any other honey. You want to explain why the local honey is a little bit better for you than importing it from somewhere else?
That's a tricky
It's because it's got local flora and stuff, so it's got the flowers and vegetation that's around you, and so when you're eating the honey, you kind of build up sort of like a immune to allergies and stuff like that, and and we use it for my son. He's got allergies, so he's gonna get the bad cough, and so we
Oh,
always give him honey and stuff to deal with his cough, and it works great and stuff. Not just for allergies. I mean, any cough, and it works great stuff. But definitely the local flora that you're getting. Usually local honey is going to be a lot fresher stuff. It's not sitting on a store shelf for however long. Usually goes pretty fast. So we always had when we were probably 3 or 4 years, we were selling a lot of honey, and we had waiting lists all the time. Stuff, like we never sold at like farmers markets and things like that and stuff, because it was just as soon as we had it, it was sold and stuff.
that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah. So I would say, like, fresher would be one thing. You kind of know what's um a lot of it is going to be like the raw honey and stuff, which is just kind of strained and stuff, so you don't get so you get like all the benefits and stuff from it, because if it's filtered or heated and stuff, it'll take away from the stuff.
Yeah.
So I've seen like with local honey, I've seen different things. I've seen it just be strained, like do raw honey. I've seen it be, heated for different reasons, and then I've also seen it like being filtered. So you know.
Um,
Just a quick question from the chat here. We got DMG scale models punching in, and he wants to know just how close to what Jason Statham does is what you're doing, and what the secret words are to get you activated. And also, he said local honey is it's great for sore throats and helps with insulin resistance. So, is that something you can add to?
I heard a little bit of that.
Oh,
Was he
right.
asking me a question? I
Nino,
heard
I
like some.
forgot you.
But I didn't hear all of it.
Yeah, you gotta unmute yourself in the platform over there for him so he can hear you. It was Rykus, can you repeat that? I didn't get the joke at the first part.
Okay. A Jason Statham joke is about a movie called Beekeeping.
Oh,
Or
okay.
The Beekeeper. And
I knew that was gonna come up.
Dan from DMG Scale Models asked if what words would activate you if you're anything like Jason Statham, and I don't think you'd be able to tell us if you're,
No,
an
I
agent,
can't tell you because then I'll be activated and
right? I figured
I'll
as
be
much.
putting my secret words out there in public, and that could
Can't
just
have
cause
that.
all kinds.
Yeah.
I can't.
One thing I do know about Eric is he does have some military army training, so
Oh, we might not want that.
yeah, you don't want
Oh man,
an Eric Jason Statham character coming at you.
not good.
Not good at all. And the second part of it was what was that, Nemo? The second part of his question?
It was
How to make this work? Let me make this work. All right, so if I go over here and click that, then he can hear me
There we
too,
go.
I think.
Yeah.
All right, so the second part of that question was he's heard that local honey does great for sore throats and helps with insulin resistance.
Yes, for the sore throats, definitely and stuff. We've actually used that for sore throats and stuff before for not myself, my kids. We use that. It can prevent like different mild colds. Insulin, I mean, I'd have to say like have to elaborate on that and stuff. Because I'm not sure what it means by like insulin resistance. Because all I can think of is with insulin
low
and
bu-
diabetes.
low
So,
blood sugar. Like it could help with that. Maybe that's what he was referring to.
I don't know exactly, and I don't want to misquote. It's definitely something to look into.
Yeah.
Stuff, to research, and ask your local physicians and everything. But I haven't heard that, and I don't know too much of it and stuff. If my wife was here, she probably could tell you because she gets more into like the that type of stuff. But sorry, I can't answer your question, but it does
One-
sound like something to look into.
One thing I did want to add to that with like local honey versus like store-bought honey. One other thing that I think a lot of people don't really realize, and you look at local honey, it looks visibly different. Like it's maybe cloudy, but cloudy is not the right word. There's stuff in it, like you were saying. There's filtered honey, like boiled or not boiled, but heated. One thing that you don't get when you buy store-bought honey is it's usually massive beekeeping operations in the middle of like a single field full of a single crop. And that when you get that honey from that one main crop, they'll be like, "Oh, it's cherry honey," or "Oh, it's barley honey," or "It's peach honey." That can give the honey a distinct taste, and actually, I've experienced that myself. Last year, I pulled a super off my hive when the asters were blooming, and did not taste anything like normal store-bought honey. It was so strong. My mom was like, "I can't put more than like a drop of this in my tea, or I can't taste my tea." Right? It was very cool. But you don't get all the health benefits from all the various different flowers and stuff if you have store-bought honey, and also the bees don't either. You need various different types of protein from the pollen from all these different flowers, and when you have big beekeeping operations like that, the bees they're not actually as healthy in a lot of cases, and you can have bee colonies collapse for seemingly unknown reasons. And a lot of it that goes into that is because like everything, you need a balanced diet, right? The bees
Yeah.
need a balanced diet too. So, yeah.
Was there any other questions from the chat?
Yeah, so we got some stuff I got to talk about here,
All
right?
right. So before we end this, I want to let people know that Eric does. I don't know if you can see that. That's he does 3D printing. This is my deck box. I
Yeah.
got into Magic the Gathering about the same time he got into 3D printing, and I got into Magic when Spider-Man came out for the cards, and he built me this 3D printed deck box. It's pretty cool. He's got some other ones at my store. If you're interested in any of this stuff, come to Captain's Comics. We're gonna have a catalog of sorts.
Sometime. Yeah.
Sometime. And
I owe a catalog, yes.
so he's gonna have multiple different kinds coming, and different styles, different types, and he's gonna be open for requests. So come into my comic book store,
Yep.
make a request, and we'll get you set up with Magic the Gathering box, and maybe some other stuff that he has. We didn't have time to get into that today, but maybe next time he comes on, we'll explore more 3D printing stuff.
Next time he's on, I'll be behind the camera, so we don't talk for 30 minutes about, you know. All right.
Just a quick question from the chat. Does that box have a flip lid or is it press?
It is a
Looks like a drawer.
slide, and he's got some magnets to hold it shut.
Oh, that's nice.
I put a sticker
Yeah.
on there. I put a sticker.
I like that.
That sticker
nice.
can come in there, but all this other stuff is 3D printed on there. And if you can see,
Yeah,
that,
it's all
that's-
3D printed.
It is a super awesome box, and he's gonna make me a Wolverine box that I'm gonna buy off of him. Super excited about that because
Yeah,
the next the next set of
Correct.
Magic the Gathering cards is gonna be Marvels again, so I'm expecting Wolverine.
nice.
All right.
All right, that was all for you?
Yep.
All right, now let's see if I can do Nemo's lovely segue justice here. So let's get this behind me and not fall out
We're
of my
coming
chair.
up very close to our 100th subscriber.
We are at 98 subscribers, man.
Two more.
Two more. Come on.
Two more of you
Two.
people.
We
Come
got to
on.
get 2 more subscribers.
Like and subscribe.
All right, and if we do,
We need to get
2
some more free
subscribers-
stuff to give away because
Yeah.
this stuff's getting kind of old.
It is. It's been sitting around for a while. But that this lovely Wednesday night joke net coffee mug is no less high quality than it was when we first were offering it for a giveaway. It's actually stayed really clean too. It's not like all covered in dust and all that. So
I promise you, we haven't been drinking out of it.
no. It stays up here on the set. So we got that. I'm gonna very carefully right here so that I don't knock it off the shelf. And you will also win if you are when we hit 100 subscribers.
Yes,
I didn't
not
say
the
this.
100th subscriber.
Not the 100th subscriber, but when we hit 100, we're gonna spin a little wheel or flip a coin. Not flip a coin. Random comment. Random
100-sided
subscriber.
coin.
Yeah, I'm messing it up. It's okay. You will win this if you are chosen from our 100 subscribers. You will win this. I can hold it straight. Captain's Comics T-shirt. Any size, any color printing. And if you want this specific one that has been balled up and stuffed in this cup for a whole year, we forgot to mention that. It's been 1 year. You can have this shirt too if you just want this one. We'll sign it for you. So
This is the 52nd episode.
Yeah.
Full year now.
that's
52.
that's crazy. We've been doing this for a whole year.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
I'm looking forward to another year,
Maybe
maybe
more.
more.
Dan just noticed that we're at 99 now.
Oh, we
Oh, we
are.
are.
Nice.
99.
I don't
Still
suppose
got
we
last
get
one
one more subscriber
while
while
we're
we're
live.
live. Probably not.
It looks like next episode we'll be spinning a wheel. I guarantee it.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
I guarantee. Even if I have to make a fake account,
Oh man.
I never lose.
All right. Well, I think that's kind of all we got tonight as
All
far
right.
as time allows.
Like, subscribe, leave a message below.
And,
give us a chat.
Eric, thank you for joining tonight. And I pointed at him. He's on my phone down here. Nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, this been y'all too.
All right.
Thanks for being on the show, Eric.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having me. Appreciate it.
Nemo, are you ready over there? All right. Hobby on.
Hobby on.